This is a great tour.
That was really good. Small
Oh, Lordy.
a lot more flavor in that one.
Four Roses small batch. Hey, what do y'all think back there?
This stuff is good. Jacob's digging it.
I'm digging it. I like this small batch better than the regular.
Yeah, heck yeah. Small batch has got my name on it.
Lane's actually going.
They say I want to be.
Just as I remember.
All right. Now clean up your room salt.
And they give you snacks.
It smells much sweeter.
Well, we just finished the Four Roses distillery tour, and wow, very interesting to know the history of Four Roses. Did not know that they are distillery number 8, and the way that works is the lower the number, the older the distillery.
Right.
And after Prohibition, if you didn't keep your number,
You had to get a new one.
you had to get a whole new one, and your number went up. Four Roses got to stay open during Prohibition.
Because they were medicinal.
Medicinal bourbon. Can you believe it? Anyway, Four Roses, great tour. We had a wonderful tour guide.
For the price, it was...
Yeah, it was 25 bucks a person.
You got the tour. You got a...
It was a
virgin
sipping
drink,
tour.
Sipping tour, either bourbon or non-bourbon. And then after the tasting of the 4 different bourbons, they gave you the glass water for free.
And then it ended at the gift shop, where we probably spent more than we needed to, but great tour, great time, hanging out with great friends. And now we're on to Heavenly Hill. Heavenly Hill?
Okay,
We're on to the next distillery.
let's go.
Okay, so we're at the Heavenly Hill distillery now. I believe this is a self-guided tour, but we're going to go see how they do it here. We saw Four Roses, and now we're going to see what the process is here at Heavenly Hill and what they've got to offer. Either way, it's going to be bourbon, so it's got to be good. Yeah, so we're in the Elijah Craig section of the museum here. Elijah Craig being my favorite of the Heavenly Hill stuff, especially the small batch. Learned a lot about like the smells that you get out of different aging of the barrels, and you know how Heavenly Hill purchased all of these different formulas or brands, really, and which kept them alive. Because if they wouldn't have done that, a lot of these would have just, gone away, especially after Prohibition. So thank you, Heavenly Hill, because we like our Elijah Craig for sure. But what do you think of this museum? It's pretty cool.
It's a very cool museum.
Yeah, learning a lot about the aging, about the firing of the barrels, and what's interesting about Heavenly Hill. 1935?
It started in 1935.
They had a massive fire.
I don't think it was 1935.
No, the fire wasn't then. But when the family, the brothers started, they had a massive fire, burned the entire thing down.
$3 million.
They didn't lay off one employee.
Nope, not one.
They had the employees help rebuild.
They would you pick up a broom, go digging, whatever you could do, you were doing to keep your job.
Yeah, and they rebuilt, and
Yeah,
the rest is history. Now I think we're going to go upstairs.
yeah, To the bar?
because the bar's upstairs. Yep. Okay, tour number 3. We are at the Bulleit Distillery.
Frontier whiskey.
Huh?
It's Frontier whiskey.
Frontier whiskey. I'm a fan of Bulleit. So I'm really excited about this tour. And they've got one of my favorite old fashions here. So this is going to be a good tour. Somebody said there was a bus involved, and which is good because if we do some tasting, we'd have to walk. But
We'll see.
we're staying here in the, of course, you loiter in the gift shop while you're waiting for your tour, and then of course it'll end here, which is fine because now we know the things that we want to get before we
Get it
leave here.
just like that.
Yeah, so Bulleit tour, we're excited about this one, and we're excited to take you along with us.
6 large monitors display readouts for all of the equipment here in the distillery. If something's going wrong with a piece of equipment, an alert's going to flash up on the screen. Our operators can then use their computers, check out the alert, see what's going wrong.
Real quick before the tour moves on, there's guys in the control room. That light started flashing red, and they left. So something's going on. Something is afoot in the Bulleit. That red light came on. Those 2 guys left. We're out of here. So this pond is where all of the water that goes into the Bulleit bourbon comes from. Goes through that pump house right there, and then it is cleaned up and pumped into the distillery. But that is 100% of what you're drinking. We all just had some of the high wine. What'd you say the proof on that was? 120. They just squirted it on our hands, and now I smell like a distillery. But that's okay. Yeah. Oh.
Have fun explaining to that cop.
He's driving. Okay, so that was fermenting and distilling. Now I think we're getting back on the bus and we're heading. Tasting. There we go. Yeah, they got it's interesting, after we've gone through a couple of these tours, because they do their barreling totally different. They stack their barrels, they don't lay their barrels. And what I find interesting is the different heights of the barrel houses. Some of them are really tall, and the ones that want to keep the climate pretty regular keep it down to about 1 floor, maybe 3. So Bulleit does that. They keep it no higher than 3 stories, and that keeps the climate in the barrels more consistent, so that we all get a more consistent flavor of bourbon. Back on the bus. I think we're going to tasting now. You want to taste it? This is our tour guide. Okay, so that's going to wrap up the Bulleit Distillery factory tour. We are on to Buffalo Trace next. That'll be our last stop on the Bourbon Trail.
Which one did you like the best?
So far, I really like Four Roses, but I think this one. But I like Bulleit,
You do.
so I have a bias there. But here's the interesting thing. I said this at the beginning, how many different ways can you make bourbon? And there's not a whole lot of different ways you can make bourbon. The fermenting process is the same. The distilling process is pretty much the same. But it's the story of the distillery, and they all tweak something. Like here, every drop of water that goes into Bulleit comes out of that pond.
Right.
and it's processed, so you're not drinking pond water. But little things like that makes a big difference in each one. And the flavors of Bulleit I really like, and just kind of learning the differences between each of the distilleries. So let's head off to Buffalo Trace. We have arrived at Buffalo Trace. We are not taking a tour here. We're doing a self-guided walk around of the distillery. This building right behind me is the Visitor Welcome Center. We'll be checking that out. But this is a lot of the distillery right here.
Going to.
Okay, since we didn't take the tour, we figured we'd pop upstairs and do a tasting. And
Yeah, might as well.
yeah, might as well. Yeah.
Ricky, did
And
you
like,
get some
and
jelly?
like I said earlier, we walked all the way up these
Did you
stairs.
get jelly?
Yeah, and then as soon as he told me the price, I was sold.
Yeah,
Because they said if you don't like it, they will double your money back.
double our money back.
Yeah.
So
Cost
we're
nothing.
we're gonna do some tasting.
It's got an interesting say with the vodka. It's got an interesting.
That's really smooth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better than bourbon.
Better than bourbon.
Yeah. He barely even made a pay.
This one is just Buffalo Trace. It is their flagship. Cheers.
8 years.
8 years. But they're not telling you that.
Man, that is good.
I'm a big fan
That is
of this. I've got a bottle in the trailer. Thank you, Mr. Buffalo Trace. Okay, so we just got done with the tasting.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess the bourbon cream was your favorite?
Bourbon cream with the root beer.
The root beer.
Yes.
That was really fantastic. In fact, we're going downstairs to buy
cream.
a bottle of that cream. I like the regular Buffalo Trace. I'm not gonna lie. The weather was good, but I'm a fan of Buffalo Trace, so that was really good in the tasting. The guy that did the tasting was super cool.
His name was Will.
Will, and it was a fun tasting. We had a good time, and now we've got to go get some of that cream because that was so good, and not only good in the root beer, but I think in coffee.
Yeah, or over ice cream.
Over ice cream. Ooh, okay. Let's go get a bottle. Okay, so we went to the gift shop, bought some stuff, went upstairs, did the tasting, fell in love with the bourbon cream. Well played, Gut Buffalo Trace. Well played. So if you notice I'll show you the trees, but this telephone pole, all the buildings have like a black coating on them. That's actually a fungus, and when they brew off, hey, there's an RV going by through the distillery. But when they brew off the yeast and whatnot, it puts a particulate in the air, and it mixes with this fungus, and it turns the walls black. I'll show you here. The walls are black, and you'll see it on the trees too. It looks like everything's burnt, but nothing's burnt. It's all just it's just all a process. These are the barrel warehouses that I'm right there, and they're taking tours right now, so we didn't get in there. So all of these buildings behind me, they're all barrel warehouses, and like the guy in the tasting said, the Buffalo Trace Standard, their flagship bourbon, ages 8 years. And so he was saying, if you don't have Buffalo Trace where you are, wait a while, it's coming, because they're not going to rush the process just to get it out there. It's going to wait 8 years, and then it's going to hit you. So, but yeah, this is storage, and the distilling is back in this area over here. So they distill, they bottle, and then they bring it over into the warehouses. But I think that's going to do it for the Bourbon Trail.
It is.
This one right here,
We're done.
she's all tasted out.
Not really a bourbon
Yeah,
gal.
and that's That's fine. I like my bourbon, but yeah, I think we're ending at Buffalo Trace is a really good kind of exclamation point on the trip.